All right, guys. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about a potential defensive prospect in the first or the second round for the Green Bay Packers, and why I see this prospect as a perfect fit for the new Packers defense. And that player is none other than linebacker Edgerrin Cooper from Texas A&M. A lot of people right now, myself included, have Edgerrin Cooper as their linebacker one. Some people have Peyton Wilson over Edgerrin Cooper. I'm not one of them. I do believe Cooper is the top linebacker in this class, and although he might not sneak into the first round, I think he is definitely in play in the early second round. The Packers do have a pick at 41, and I feel like if he's there at 41, the Packers should run that card up. So for the second episode of this series on this channel, where we take a look at a prospect, go over them, break them down, and also look at some game film, today we will be doing that on linebacker Edgerrin Cooper. All right, so let's quickly do a rundown and a breakdown on the type of prospect Edgerrin Cooper is before we dive down into the game film. So first, I'm going to bring up his PFF profile here. He's 6'3", 230 pounds, a junior from Texas A&M. He's still only 22 years old. For his description here, it says Cooper has the length and the athleticism to be a starting caliber linebacker in the NFL in a downhill role. His lack of anticipation and instincts for deeper coverage work will likely keep him from being picked in the first round. Cooper brings a lot of athleticism to the linebacker position. He possesses top-tier change of direction, burst, and pursuit speed. His best work comes when he keeps things in front of him, flying in for tackles at the line of scrimmage or toward the sidelines. Cooper's issues come from reacting more than anticipated. He is manipulated off his spot too often against play action and pre-snap motion. He also tends to over-pursue tackles, though he was more consistent in 2023. He earned a high coverage grade in 2023, but that was more from defending shallow zones, running backs out of the backfield, and quarterback scrambles than it was in deeper zone assignments. And after watching his tape, I definitely agree with this description. I think that kind of describes Edgerrin Cooper perfectly. As for his stats, Cooper had an amazing 2023, a 90.8 PFF grade. We see he had 58 total tackles with 11 missed, a pass rush grade of 86.4, a run defense grade of 87.6, a coverage grade of 85.5, missed tackle rate right around average, a 12.8%. He had 19 coverage stops, 37 run stops. In coverage, he did allow 14 receptions on 16 targets, so high completion rate there, but no touchdowns, no interceptions, 2 forced incompletions, and a 101 pass rating. Again, he wasn't really tasked with any deep zones. Like the description said, it was a lot of shallow stuff, mainly quarterback spies he was doing, covering running backs out in the flat, maybe a short route on a tight end here and there. And as for his pros and cons on PFF, his pros: downhill player, is willing to take on blocks at the line of scrimmage, top-tier athlete in change of direction, burst, and long speed, an effective blitzer. In terms of cons, can be manipulated by pre-snap motion / play action, out of control sometimes, takes a step too far in one direction and overcommits. I definitely saw this in the tape. Like sometimes he's a little too fast for his own good, and he'll just be flying in and just, overcommit on a running back that can put one foot in the ground and make a miss. And then also reacts more than he anticipates. As for his RAS, he is an athlete, and we know the Packers love their athletes, and Brian Gutekunst says he doesn't know what RAS is or doesn't use it, but at the end of the day, it's a scale to show who's an athletic player, and Gutekunst 100% drafts athletic players. Cooper, a 9.26, would be much higher if he was sized bigger, 6'2", 230 pounds. Explosion grade, good, not great, 34.5 vertical, 9'10" broad jump. Where he's elite is his speed. 40-yard dash, a 4.5 140, great 20-yard split, and an amazing 10-yard split of 1.56. Looking at his NFL Draft Buzz profile, going over where he's ranked on all different databases, his average rank is the 48th and a half prospect. So again, he kind of falls right around that early portion of the second round if you're looking at averages. The average position rank, he's 4th, which that could include some edge rushers. It just depends where you kind of classify certain guys as. But, he's either linebacker number 1 or linebacker number 2 between him and Peyton Wilson. That much is clear. In terms of Fox, he's a 37th ranked prospect. ESPN, he's 39th. Countdown, 40th. MDDB, he's 44. And if we look at the back end, the lowest he is actually PFF. He's the 62nd ranked prospect. I think that's definitely an outlier. I don't see Edgerrin Cooper falling past 50. I think a team's really going to like his, play style and what he can bring into a defense. And that moves me on to my next point is I think he's a perfect fit for this Packers defense. And yes, he does remind me a lot of Quay Walker in terms of versatility, the sideline to sideline speed, but why not have two of those guys in your defense? I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Quay Walker's supposed to be the weak side linebacker, the will linebacker. I think Quay can be a Mike, and I think Edgerrin Cooper is suited better for the will in the NFL, but he played everything at Texas A&M. He played the Mike, he played strong side, the Sam, the Will. He played all those linebackers. They moved him around so much, as you'll see in this tape. And I just think that versatility, adding another guy like that with the athleticism, the speed, the aggression, similarly to Quay Walker, man, it's going to make that defense very fun and make that defense, disguisable, and Jeff Hafley is going to be able to do many different things with it. And the Packers have a need at linebacker, right? They released Devondre Campbell. They have Quay Walker and Isaiah McDuffie, which I think they're comfortable with, but they're going to need a couple more linebackers, especially switching to this 4-3. Not that they're going to play base much with three linebackers behind the defensive line, but it will happen, and they're going to need linebackers to do that. All right, so now let's dive down into the game film for Edgerrin Cooper, but before we do so, I want to give a shout out to BetUS for sponsoring today's video, and I'm actually giving away 5 free $25 bets on BetUS. All you have to do is DM me on Twitter and prove that you have a BetUS account, whether that's your account number or a picture of your account. And then the first 5 people to DM me, I will get you credited on your account with a free $25 bet. And if you haven't made an account yet, definitely go down, click the link in the description, use code JOIN125, and that will get you a 125% deposit match on your first 3 deposits up to $2,500. And on BetUS, there's plenty of different future NFL bets, including the draft, where you can bet on the first quarterback selected, the first non-quarterback selected. You can bet on the second overall pick in the upcoming draft, the first overall pick, the final pick of the NFL draft, and Mr. Irrelevance player position. So there's plenty of different futures in terms of the draft or MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Super Bowl winner, all on BetUS.
BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook and casino. Live betting and racebook. We're celebrating 30 years with a historic offer, a 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. Get started today. BetUS, where the game begins.
All right, so now let's dive down into the film. I have film from 3 separate games from 2023 versus LSU, versus Ole Miss, and versus Alabama. So on this first play, you see the yellow arrow here. That's where Edgerrin Cooper is on this play. He's on the edge here, and you'll see what this film is, as I mentioned earlier. Cooper is moved around a lot. He can play edge. He can, rush the passer off the edge. They ran him on a lot of stunts, as you'll see here. You'll see him in some A-gap pressure. And then primarily, you'll see him against a team like LSU with Jaden Daniels at quarterback. He's their spy linebacker, which I think would be great to have in this defense. I know Quay Walker can do it, but the new age quarterback is a dual threat quarterback with some running ability, can make plays with their legs. So it would be really nice to have a guy like this as well. On this play, you'll see him lined up on the edge. Again, he's patient here. Stunt blitz comes in and wraps up Jaden Daniels with a little bit of help of a teammate there. But Jaden Daniels is a hard quarterback to bring down. Here's another angle of it. Again, just really being patient here, letting those blocks develop, and then coming in around on that stunt and getting Jaden Daniels down for a sack here. All right, so here's another play. We see Edgerrin Cooper kind of lined up in between the guard and the tackle here. This play kind of turns into a broken play where Jaden Daniels scrambles out left. But what I want you to take a look at here is Edgerrin Cooper's speed and his motor to chase down Jaden Daniels. And Jaden Daniels is a fast quarterback. So watch him here just really turn that next gear and get upfield and track down Daniels. Now, he doesn't secure the tackle there, but he forces Daniels inside, and then he gets tackled. Just extreme impressive speed here by Edgerrin Cooper to not only just not give up on this play after being engaged in a block there, but just turn on the jets here and outrunning a DB on his own team, and at least getting a hand on Jaden Daniels there and disrupting that run. Here's another play just showcasing the sideline to sideline speed. It's going to be a bubble screen here. He waits for that, and then he gets through, and he's pretty much the open man here to make the tackle. And just the sideline to sideline speed to be basically shot out of a cannon there and get over there and make that tackle. He assesses the play, then he flies to the ball carrier and, forces him out of bounds there. Here's a similar play. We see Edgerrin Cooper kind of in the A-gap here. It's going to be another screen-type play for LSU here. He's engaged in a block, assesses that, then again, shot out of a cannon, flies and makes an aggressive tackle there. So although Edgerrin Cooper, 230 pounds, a little bit undersized, he doesn't play like it. When he's flying in there to make a tackle, man, he can make some big hits there, as you see there on the running back number 27. Really do like this play. And again, it just showcases Cooper's sideline to sideline speed, his motor. He doesn't give up on plays, and he's always, flying down in there to try to make a tackle. And he does a good job assessing this, right? He's engaged with the center there, assessing this, getting out of that block, going up and making that hit. Here's a simple run defending play. So Cooper lines up again on the line of scrimmage. So they do this a ton with him. They have him up on the line of scrimmage, but then right before the snap, they'll drop him back. But he still does a good job assessing that this is an inside run here, finding that running lane and just stuffing that running lane and pushing that running back for -2, -3 yards, outside of forward progress. But a really good job here. Cooper remaining patient and then finding that running lane and making a tackle there. Here's another run defense. We see Cooper lined up as the strong side backer here. Again, just waiting for the handoff, remaining patient, finding that running lane, going in and making the tackle. So when he's patient and when he can assess things, he's very good. But sometimes he isn't as patient and he does kind of just fly in and he'll miss a tackle. But here, that's not the case. Here's another play just to again showcase he's a more than capable run defender, even though being 230 pounds, getting through that block there, assessing that run and making the tackle at the line of scrimmage. He's a secure tackler. A lot of times he does a great job wrapping up. It is very rarely you see him try to make an arm tackle. He's a really good job at just wrapping up and driving that ball carrier into the ground there. So again, just a basic play, just line up as linebacker, right? And just assessing this run, finding that running lane, and then attacking, driving on that ball carrier. Now here's a clip of a coverage play. I believe he ends up in man coverage covering this crosser right here. So although the description basically said, hey, he's not in deep coverage too often, he is here. He does showcase the ability to do so. It's just a lot of the times Texas A&M had Edgerrin Cooper up near the line of scrimmage pre-snap, and a lot of times he would have his eyes in the backfield because he'd be spying a quarterback or looking for a swing pass or something of that sort. But you see here, if it is man coverage and he knows what he's tasked with, he can track down a wide receiver on a crosser route there and, get his hands on him and make sure that ball isn't thrown his way. Here's another good example of Edgerrin Cooper in coverage. See, when he's tasked with something like man coverage here on this tight end here, and his eyes aren't in the backfield, he does a good job at it, right? This tight end gets zero separation on him. Edgerrin Cooper does a good job keeping his hands on him, but not being too physical where it's going to draw a flag. He has the speed, he has the athleticism, he has the strength in most cases to match up against a tight end like this. And I think in the NFL, he will be a good coverage linebacker. You can just use him in so many different ways. And obviously, linebackers in this day and age NFL, they need to be able to cover. They need to be able to track down a faster tight end or a running back out of the backfield. And this play here in man coverage, Edgerrin Cooper does a good job locking down this tight end and taking that option away for the quarterback. Here on this play, we have Edgerrin Cooper lined up on the edge here. He's going to be tasked with spying the quarterback, Alabama here, and he does a good job kind of being patient, waits for the quarterback to make that break, and he just shot out of a cannon here and tracks down the quarterback for a sack. I mean, once Edgerrin Cooper assesses it and sees what it is, and he goes full-fledged, full throttle, man, this guy, it's very impressive at how fast he looks on the field when you watch him compared to other players. Like, he just looks so much faster than certain. And this is against Alabama, right? This isn't a lack of talent that he's playing against by any means. And he's just a really good job here, spying the quarterback, which he did a lot. And obviously college, quarterbacks run a little bit more than the NFL, of course, but that's the way it's going, right? Most of these new quarterbacks have the ability to run, so you're going to need guys that can track them down. And as you see here, Edgerrin Cooper does an excellent job at that. Just one more time, watch this here. Just the absolute speed to assess this, and then the moment that quarterback breaks down, Edgerrin Cooper is just like, boom, turn on the jets, go wrap up, make that tackle. Here's another clip. Cooper lined up at the mic. Again, just the assessing this play, seeing it's a read option, shot out of a cannon, gets in that backfield and makes that tackle. A little bit of a taunt there at the end, kind of standing over him. They'll call that in the NFL as much as you don't like to see it. But again, really good job assessing that this is a read option, shot out of that cannon. I know I keep saying it, but that's the best way I can describe Edgerrin Cooper is when he does assess something, he is literally shot out of a cannon and he's like the first one of the ball. Watching this tape, like he is all over the field. He's definitely one of their best defenders, if not the best one, and he's involved in almost every single play. Here it is one more time on the read option. Does a good job wrapping up, making a tackle there. This play is definitely a great play. It's an edge blitz by Edgerrin Cooper that just goes unblocked, and it's just a blindside hit on the quarterback. Again, it's nothing like too skillful here where it's like, oh, wow, he beat that left tackle with an impressive move and still got to the quarterback. This left tackle didn't even see it coming. The running back doesn't do a good job at assessing that blitz. and the quarterback doesn't put the running back over there to help, when you can kind of clearly see Edgerrin Cooper coming on that edge there, and man, just delivers a crushing hit that results in a fumble. Then for the final play, just a simple run stop. Edgerrin Cooper here at the mic in the middle, and again, just kind of showcasing that he plays bigger than his size. Like that's an impressive tackle there, right? That doesn't look like a 230-pound linebacker, driving a running back into the ground. It looks like this hit would be from a guy that's 250, 260. So he plays a lot bigger than his frame says. And again, just a good job playing Mike here, assessing this run, seeing that run lane on this inside zone, driving, bringing that tackler down to the ground. Like I said, he's a very secure tackler. Not often do you see him miss tackles. I saw a couple, and again, I know he's at 12.8 missed tackle percentage, but I did only watch 3 games, 2 of which were some of his better games in 2023, and one of which against Ole Miss, which was one of his worst games. But still, he was on film a lot. And Edgerrin Cooper was always around the ball, and his motor is something that impressed me a ton. Even if he wasn't involved where the ball was going, you saw him sprinting towards it no matter what. Like, dude's just full-fledged, full throttle running towards that football. And like I said, sometimes it hurts him, where he was going full speed no matter what, and he'll overrun a ball carrier, overrun something a little bit too quick. But where he's at his best is when he is patient, when he can assess things, and then he just makes a quick decision after making that assessment and being a little bit more patient. But overall, I think Edgerrin Cooper is just a perfect fit for this new Packers defense, this Jeff Hafley system, right? We need more aggressive type of linebackers, fast, athletic, right? Even strong. And strength isn't his strong suit, but he can go in and make a crushing hit, no doubt about it. And I think adding another guy that kind of has similar skill set to Quay Walker, like when we saw Quay Walker coming out of Georgia and we drafted him, we were kind of like, oh, he could play on the edge too if we really need him to. He can go and rush the passer, some A-gap pressure, some edge pressure. Edgerrin Cooper is very similar, and also a good coverage guy, decent against the run, a secure tackler. There's no problem with having 2 of those guys at linebacker, 2 athletic guys that you can do so much with. Imagine being able to move both of those guys around or send a double A-gap pressure with both Edgerrin Cooper and Quay Walker, right? These are things that I think Jeff Hafley would like to add to this defense, and I think you do need another linebacker that's like a Quay Walker to add to this defense. But you also do need a Sam linebacker, and I think Isaiah McDuffie can fill that role. But the Packers might go ahead and draft Edgerrin Cooper in the second round, and then more of a run-fitting Sam linebacker in the middle to later rounds as well. But I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. I am all for the Packers drafting Edgerrin Cooper at pick 41. After doing this episode, watching the tape on Cooper, kind of going over him, I'm even more sold on him. I've been sold on him. If you see my mock drafts, I like to draft him a lot, and I didn't do a deep dive on him until today doing this episode, and it just kind of secures that more for me, saying, hey, I want the Packers to go and draft Edgerrin Cooper. It's at a position in need. He's the number 1 linebacker, in my opinion, in this draft class, and I think you can snag him at pick 41. But we'll see how things happen on draft night. But again, let me know down in the comments below what you think of Edgerrin Cooper, and do you see him as a good fit in this new Packers defense? I do appreciate you guys coming by. Also, leave a comment what player you want to see next. I'll probably do another episode this week as we near closer and closer to the draft. I want to cover some more players that potentially are Packers draft picks in the first, second, maybe even third round. So let me know down in the comments below for that as well. But I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. And as always, go Pack Go.